shed gunner here. So what I need to do today is drill clearance holes so I can put cap screws and hold this boss in place. I don't want it floating, I want it to sit nice and true. Okay, so to do that I've taken some little grub screws with Allen key heads on them. Turn the point on the lathe and I'll reverse thread them into the stud holes, set them to a depth, line this up, pump the bad boy, and that'll give me transfer punch holes markings. I'll be hardening them up, so I'll be heating them to cherry red and quenching them, but so I can set them at the right depth in this face, and so I can get them in and out, I'm going to cut a little hex head so I can put a socket head on. So I'll do this on the E-Speed Varshy-B, the E-Speed mill. We've got an indexing head on here, and I've set it to do 6 stops per full revolution. So it's a hard hinge indexing head, and I'll mill off a hex head on the end of my little stud. I want to make sure that each of them's the same size, height and dimension. So what I'm going to do is take out the 5C collet. This fits 5C collets. So I'm going to take the 5C collet out. Right, that should come out without putting a hole in my blooming hand there. Right, there you go. So your 5C collets come out. I reckon I'll be coming out to about there. Some of these are threaded and you've got a thread insert, but this one isn't. And that stop sits nice. So there's a series of little studs that come out and grip the side there. That's about right. So I'm just locking off that grub screw, and that's set the height. That's not going to come out or go in, it's going to stay at the same height. Oops, find it quickly. This cap head has secured the whole unit. I'll give it a bit of welly. So I've given that a bit of welly now with a decent size Allen key, so that is going to stay put. And I'll back it up with a lock on. Okay. Right. Back in we go. Key to the key side, it says key at the top. So, once you've got your part set up, tighten it on. That's going nowhere. Loosen it off and it can come out. So we can get the part out, get the part in, tighten it off. 1, 2, and so on. Okay, so we've got the same, the part will be at the same height. All I've got to do now is get the cutter at the height I want, lock off the quill, and then cut a hex and get a spanner to fit it. All right. That is motoring. Okay, so there you go. I'm going to roasty toasty these up. Then I'm going to quench them, polish them, temper them, and then see if they work. The hex is you know, it's pretty tight tolerances actually, but we're not screwing them down too tight. We could screw them right down deep with that. Okay, that is fantastic kit, beautiful kit. Alright, well, hopefully you'll see this. We're going to take it up to cherry red. That's a good solid red there. Gunsmoke. Ooh, there we go. Bit of gunsmoke. So that's oil quenched. I don't know if it's quenchable or not, I haven't got a clue. Okie dokes, so got all 4 of them hardened off. Now I'm going to polish them, then just bring them up to a straw and let them cool naturally. We're getting there. Right, we've got those polished up on the lathe. Now I'm just going to take them up to a straw colour and let them cool. Au naturel. It's a bit bluey, that one. That's a bit better, that's a bit more straw coloured. Okay, yeah. So I'll let those cool off now, and then they should be ready to go in the vase and pomp off. There we go. These cooled pretty quickly, which is great. I'll want to set them so that the piece is sat down pretty much as far as pos. And I'll set them all to the same height so that when I pomp them, I get a good even pomp. Okay, so I've got my faceplate on, I've got my 4 pins in. Well, that should be quite a good fit. It is. So I'm going to put a bit of tape on that so it's dead centered. So we just bump that on, taking a pair of calipers. I had measured it as 1.5 inches between centres, so I've set these calipers to 1.5 inches and crisscrossed from each of the holes to the next. And it's not unreasonable, it looks sensible. So I'm going to drill those out and see how we go.
Those other blips there are where the slotting head was bashing down into the corners and just raised the edge a bit. It's only about 20 thou thick down there, not much.
Okay, so I've had problems before picking up hole patterns because you have to get them bob on in the right place. If I drilled out these two holes here, it would have weakened the connection, possibly weakened the connection between here and here. It would have thinned it out. So I've chosen to go for the 4-hole option. I don't really want to land up drilling locations through there. It just feels not quite right, but we've picked up the 4 holes. We've picked them up real good. So, you know, that's absolutely fantastic. And that's a standard clearance drill. That's for this size. It's 3/8 studs, and it's a 9.8mm drill. So super happy with that. The key to this were these little pointy stubby things. I keep them in the holes anyway, just to keep any tut out. And, you know, we're better than this drive plate. So super happy with that. Okay, I have had a thought. We've got clearance when this unit goes on at the back here, and it's the depth of a head. Right, so there's plenty of room there. I'm not going to hit the bearing. So what I've done is I've taken a standard cap head, reduced down the head because I don't need that much grip, machined off the length, and they're going to run quite nicely over this boss. Okay, so you get the idea there. Just a little bit too tight enough. It's actually catching on the boss, which means it's part of the drive as well. Fantastic. Okay, so I'll just take a smidgen more off. Okay, so let's have a look at that close up. So there we have it. We've got my drive adapter in place, and we've got no interferences there. That's good and solid. We're just a bit tight on this one. He's just I've not been perfect with my positioning, but blooming Laura, I'm delighted. So we've now got our drive to go to the knuckle head. I'll adjust the spacer plate, but my head's sitting on that boss, and it's happy there. So I'll measure this gap. Make sure that my plate's slightly thicker than that. I think that's just under 700. But there you go. That's fantastic. I've actually only got 3 studs in there at the minute. That one was a bit tight. So, yeah. Shed guy, gone.
So here's the adapter plate sitting in position, studs reasonably tight, little bit of movement.
We've got a decent fit in the slot. I've taken the heads down as large as they can be to allow the boss to slip in. I've not taken any more off than I need. So It's a pretty nice adapter, that. I'm happy with that. Good. We've got the spacer ring screwed to the original part. This spacer has been reduced in thickness from when I bought it. I've reduced it down a bit.
I've kept that front face bob on true. I've reduced down the diameter, and there's your knucklehead adapter sitting there ready for the knucklehead.
It's been a faff.